There she is. Okay, here you are. Hi, Rupal. Are you there, Rupal?
Yes, now I am.
Oh, okay, good. I can see you. Good, good. We
And
can
can you
see you.
hear me okay?
Yes, you can hear you. Huh? So this is Rupal Dave. She's a physical therapist for 30 years, and she has been giving out her lot of sessions, and she's going to give us one of her sessions today. So all on your court, Rupal. Go ahead.
Thank you, Sejal. Thank you
Thank you.
for giving me this opportunity. It's always nice to talk about Mudra. I love it. And also, a little bit of my physical therapy experience that I can share with everybody. It's really gives me a joy to just, and then I meet people and I see that they are trying to do some of the things I've said. So, it's really nice. So today, you already have been teaching yoga and breathing. So today I'm just going to shed some light on stretching exercise and do's and don'ts of it. Nutritionals, supplements that you should be taking, not really supplements, but like the hydration part that I'm going to talk about it. And then I'm going to give little introduction to Mudra. And Mudra is also like the other part of yoga, which is not very famous, but it's kind of becoming mainstream now. I see there are classes offered. I actually have a class on Udemy that I just posted for people to, kind of get some knowledge if they want to. So let me start with talking about mudras. So in mudras, what you're doing is you're using your hands to create a position, and that kind of connects different parts of the elements. So if you've never heard, then the 5 fingers represent 5 elements.
This meeting is being recorded.
Can you all make sure your audios are muted? Thank you. Go ahead, Rupal. Go ahead.
Okay. So 5 fingers represent 5 elements. So the thumb is the one that is fire. The little finger is water. The ring finger is earth. This is space, and this is air. So every time like you hear, when I was growing up, I was hearing like older people, like my grandparents would say, "Oh, I've got out of gas," or something like that. So the vayu part, the digestion that needs that air element balanced. So when you do this mudra, so you connect the thumb and the index finger, that means you're connecting the vayu. So you kind of keep it in balance. And so also you are helping focus, attention. You've seen this in yoga mudras most of the times. And then if you just modify it a little and you bend your index finger and you touch the tip of your thumb, then this mudra helps people who have arthritis, rheumatism, gout. So, it's a simple thing. If you look at it, all you're doing is holding a position. In the beginning, when somebody's trying to do, you should try to hold both sides equally, sit in a straight position, or even lying down. Or even if you're walking, you can do it, but just make sure you're even. It's not like you're sitting sideways and you're trying to do it, or you're sleeping sideways and do it. So this is one of a good thing, a lot of people can benefit from doing this. And every day, if you do 5 minutes, 3 times a day, or even if you do just 1 or 2 times a day, it will, in 30 days, it will add up and you will see a difference in your joint space. You will feel that the joints don't feel as stiff. You've taken care of some of the air element or the gas trapped in your digestive tract. So this is very good. So we are already used to this. We've seen this, all the time in the yoga when focus, attention, gnana mudra, mudra of knowledge. And you just modify it a little and you bend your index finger and touch the tip of your thumb. And this can help with a lot of the arthritic problem. The second one is this finger with the space. So this is one of the also same thing, you can bend and touch the tip of the thumb. And this one can help with ear problems. Now, in acute ear problems, if somebody has ear pain or a lot of ear infections or something like that, you hold it. Now, this one in particular, you just have to do it till pain is gone. So if you're holding it in 2 minutes, the ear pain is gone, you have to let go of it. It's not one of those things where you hold it for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes. So when you do this, the ear pain goes away in 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, you let go of the mudra. And I am just giving brief overview today. If anybody's ever interested, I have, presentation that I can share with Sejal, and then you guys can get it from her. The third one is the earth. So this one, if you hold it, just the tips together, or if you do, the bend and hold it like, both of them help with hormonal balance, thyroid gland, and it also helps with metabolic rate. So some people who are really weak, if they do this, it gives them more strength. And if, even if you have a weight challenge, like if you're overweight or underweight, this helps balance the weight. And when I was first doing it, different things are said about these two, but you kind of can try these. Just touch the tip of the thumb and the tip of ring finger, hold it for 5-10 minutes, do it every day for like 30 days. Anything to work, it will take about 30 to 40 days. So you try this and don't really expect results right away, but if you continuously do it, you'll notice a difference. The last one is for water. So if you feel dehydrated, like in summertime, if you're walking outside and things like that, or kids who play sports, I'm not saying this is what they should do instead of hydrating, but if you're really feeling dehydrated and you don't have access to water right away, you can try doing this for a little bit so it will balance your water element. And then, of course, go get water. So these are just some basic ones. One of the ones that I really like to do is after you've had a heavy meal. Usually they say after you do yoga, so after you eat, you don't do yoga for about 90 minutes because your digestive system has to work to digest the food you've had. So you don't want to, cause compromise. But this is one of the things you can always do after food. So you're connecting the two middle fingers, right? So second and the ring finger. So it's like the deer head position. When you do this, helps digestion a lot. This also helps regulate the blood sugar. So this is one of the best mudra, and you walk around like 5 minutes or something after you've had your food. And this helps to digest your, helps in digestion, and you don't feel as full after you're done. And from here, there is a modification. So you just hold the deer head and the index finger, you just go to the base of the thumb. And this helps with high blood pressure. There have been times where like I've read some articles where somebody's having like a symptoms of heart attack. And if they just hold this mudra till the help comes, if you're able to help them get to this, then it reduces the effect of heart attack. So it's a very powerful thing. It looks very simple. Now I have tried to, research more about long mudra. When I go hiking and stuff, I get out of breath. So I've tried to research, but I haven't really found something good that works. But one thing I did notice that when I'm walking and if I get a little short of breath, if I hold the deer head and then do this mudra, it helps, regulate my breathing, helps the circulation. So then I'm able to go a little bit further when I go hiking, or it actually helps me, recover better. So if I just stand in one position and just do this, it helps me, kind of calm down my system. The heart rate comes down, and then I'm able to go a little bit more. Again, don't push yourself. If you see signs of, like you're exhausted, this mudra, and then trying to push yourself, that's not a good idea. But if you can do this and, rest for a little bit and go a little further, but you feel good, then continue. But these are some of the things. This is so easy. It's like right there. Another thing that I learned over the time that if you forget all of these things, if you just hold all your 5 fingers together and then just hold after eating, this also helps digestion. Because in everybody, the elements are off, like, in my case, I might be off in my air element. Some people might be off in their space or earth or water. So if you do this, you're just connecting all the 5 elements and you just hold it. It's nothing, it's not going to harm you, but at least it can help a little bit in the process. So these are just simple basic mudra that I have been trying to do for like 5-6 years now. And I've seen tremendous difference every time I do it regularly. There are times I don't. So, we're all humans, so we fall off the thing, but it's a good idea to try to do whatever you can do. So if you can't remember any of it, deer head, and this is for water. And then this one is for circulation. So if you can do any of that, that's good. And the first finger, when you do this, it helps a lot of digestive, and the air element, a lot of gas arthritic gout, rheumatism, things like that. So these are simple things that a lot of us have over the period of time as we age. And if you can keep this in check, you can prolong the deteriorating effect of it. So that's basically what I would say about Mudra. Other thing to do is if, like take 3 minutes. If you really like one of these mudras, then you can take at night 3 minutes and just kind of say Om while you hold the mudra. And that really enhances the effect of the mudra that you're trying to do or the results you're trying to gain from it. So that's about mudra. Any questions about that, or was that pretty explanatory, self-explanatory, or it's okay, Sejal?
Yeah, it's good. So Rupal man, so for the heart patients, right? You hold these two, right?
Right.
Just on their nails, right? Not index.
Right, just the fingertips
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah, not
Right?
bend. Yeah, right.
Yeah. And then you just kind of connect the first index.
Connect the first
onto
finger in the gap here.
Okay, cool. All right.
So you're making like a 0 here.
Yeah.
Within that.
Okay.
And then the other fingers initially, when somebody's trying it out, like I have been doing it for a while, and obviously you also looks like your fingers really do very well. But some people, when they start out, their fingers want to do this, and it's okay. Just rest it on something, like rest on your lap or rest on a pillow or something like that. Eventually, these fingers will, kind of straighten out. So when you first start, if you're doing this and all the other 3 fingers want to go in, it's okay. You just rest it, and then eventually they will straighten out. Because the goal is to keep them straight, so this balances out. But it's like requires a little bit of practice.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so now I think you all have been doing stretching exercises along with yoga.
I think Kumkum has one question. Go ahead, Kumkum.
The fingers, they should be together like that or spread out like this?
Fingers, try to keep it together, because if you spread out, they're going to strain.
Okay.
So you want to keep it easy. Whatever makes it feel like relaxed. If you feel tension, and that's a good thing that you said, because one of the things I've been forgetting to tell people is when you hold something, right? And you feel like it can't hold and it's just separating, then don't hold it. That means your element is balanced. So you just try to do in most relaxed position, as relaxed as you can be, and then just let it go when you feel like you're done. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the next topic that I was going to talk about is stretching. And, over the period of time, I know people go to gym, people do yoga, they do Pilates, people go hiking, biking, a lot of different things everybody does. But one thing that is not given very good benefit is stretching. Most people work out like 5 days or something like that, but they don't do stretching. So, doing yoga is a great thing, because in that, automatically you get some stretching component in that. So, it's like a well-balanced exercise program. So when you do stretches, you just make sure that when you're stretching, you hold at the first place you feel the tightness. So if somebody said to go try and touch your toes, don't touch your toes if you can't touch your toes, but kind of reach the ankle, if the first. And then the next time, or the second repetition or third repetition, you might be able to reach further. So, if I say just tilt your head to the right, and if you can only do here and you feel a stretch, then you stop. If you can do full range, you do full range. So with the stretching exercise, that's like the biggest key I can give is stop when you first feel the stretch. And sometimes I see people doing rocking motion when they do stretches. So the only time a rocking motion is good is when you're doing a butterfly stretch. So in sitting, when you do the legs and you're doing the butterfly, it's okay to rock. But rest of the exercises, I highly recommend that do not rock, just hold, stretch, breathe, go with the breathing in, do a stretch, hold, let go, come back. So that way you won't harm any of the tissues, because you can create micro trauma without realizing, and it adds up and it causes problem later on. People have hamstring strain. If they're, some runners will say that they have hamstring pull all the time, or shin splint, things like that. It's because they haven't stretched that whole length. And if you can think about a dry plant and you try to mold it or bend it, it will break because it is not hydrated well. So make sure, you hydrate well along with it. And when you do stretches, just be gentle with yourself. And if you're working out 5 days a week or something, at least 2 days, you have to give 10 to 15 minutes of stretch. If you're going to do every day, 3 to 5 minutes of stretch is okay. So like when you first get up in the morning, bringing your leg to chest, bringing your leg side to side. And it seems like a stretch that you're doing for your low back, but when you bring your right leg to your chest, you're helping the right side of the colon. When you bring left leg to the chest, you're helping the left side of the colon. When you go side to side, you're kind of gently massaging. So when, if you have been doing yoga for a while also, you would know that when you do these motions, it's called waking up your spine. So knee to chest, bring your legs side to side, turning your head one way, legs one way. So in the morning, if that's one of the things you can develop as a routine, takes about 1.5 minutes, because each hold you do about 5 seconds, you do 3 repetitions. So after you've done about 1.5 minutes, you've kind of woken up your spine. So basically you've slept all night and blood flow is kind of stagnant. And all you're doing is gently mobilizing it, and you're waking up with a good start of blood flow. So it's like a on switch or reset switch for your body. So that's a good thing. Or even at night, if you want to do it, because in the morning, sometimes you just have too many things happening and we don't have time to do it. So at night, if you just do that, and then when you wake up, you're probably not going to be as stiff. But for any of this to work, it has to be done consistently for at least 30 to 40 days to become a habit. What will happen after that is your body is going to like, I need to really do this stretch. It's like going to become brushing your teeth. You're just going to do it because it feels good, right? And also I say that don't be very hard on yourself. Is if you're doing it every day, but if you miss 2 days because you're out on vacation or you're out somewhere, it's okay. It's not that you're going to lose the benefit of it, but stay consistent as long as you can do it. And even if it's a little thing, you don't have to really take time out of your life sometimes if you don't have it, but stretch every day. I was doing a YouTube video, just trying to learn different things from different people. And, this woman said, flexible mind, flexible body, they go hand in hand. So stretching is like you're really helping your nervous system, your lymph flow, you with the breathing. It incorporates everything together and makes you feel good. Your brain's not as foggy. A lot of us work in front of the computer now. As a physical therapist, I, have to move around, but most of us work in front of the desk, and, we're sitting a lot. So doing some just the gentle shoulder rolls while you're sitting, every couple hours, taking a break, doing wrist circles once in a while, just letting your hand reach the opposite side, turn your head, and those kind of simple things will really add up. And again, you can just take a little break from your work. If you're doing work, on general, 90 minutes is what I say. If you sit in a one place for 90 minutes, then you take about 2 minutes to either get up and walk, do some stretches, do some breathing exercise, any of that. Or look at something very distant, just to help your eyes, because if you've been in front of the desk. So some of these things, just make it part of your life. When you make it part of your life, it really helps. If you're going to do it a couple of days and say, oh, it doesn't work, it is not going to work. So it's the constant practice is very beneficial. Anything about stretching? Anyone has any questions?
Can you give a couple of examples of your stretches?
Okay, so mostly the desk worker, what I say, people who are in front of the desk, or even if you're working in the kitchen a lot or something like that, basically what stretches to do, right? That's what you're saying?
Yes.
So with that, I say keep your arms like at 90 degrees, elbow straight, not like extended like it's locked, but elbow just straight. You circle your wrists about 5 times one way, and then the 5 times another side, like so, clockwise, anti-clockwise, about 5. Then you do a prayer stretch. So, we all do prayer, but we hold it like this. But then just bring your arms a little up, forearms, kind of becoming parallel to the ground. So then you'll feel a little stretch here. If you're not very tight, you might not feel anything here, and that's fine. Then the next one is this. This one, almost everybody feels it, because none of us kind of work on this angle. We end up doing this, but we don't do this as much. So this helps stretch this muscle. When this area gets very tight because you're overworking it, then you have a lot of wrist problems. So when you do this stretch and keep it like that, it helps keep that area stretched out, and it doesn't create a lot of fatigue. So wrist circles, prayer, this, reverse prayer, holding like that. Then touching the opposite shoulder, using your other hand on the arm, and then just kind of pull it. And if you're feeling stretch here, hold it. If you feel like you can actually turn your head to the other side, you get a little extra stretch. And then hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you go to the other side. So you hold the opposite shoulder. And first do this, and if you feel like you can do more, then you turn your head. But you'll feel a stretch back here and a little bit in the neck. That's where you feel a little. So that's good. And then doing shoulder rolls, even in sitting, just kind of doing shoulder rolls, forward and backward. It's good. For the neck, I say like hold the 2 fingers on the top here, and then just tuck your chin in. You can use your chin and do it. But sometimes when you just do the chin, you can pull some muscle. If you do here, you're going to really get the chin tuck. So chin tuck is good because a lot of us are always doing forward head. When you do chin tuck, you allow these muscles to relax in the back. So your neck is not under so much tension. The tension headache some people feel from the tension in the neck muscle, that would reduce because you're unloading that. You're kind of giving it a little rest. Okay. Then the other one is just you hold on the opposite side of your neck, and then you just stretch and try to keep your shoulder down. And Sage really good. So your shoulder is down. So most people, if you're tight, it will come up, but just try to see if you can rest your arm on your lap and then just stretch. And then you go to the other side. Okay, hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's basically what I say, or 2 regular breaths, not 2 deep breaths, but regular breaths. If you hold, that's really good for you. Okay, so those are just basic ones. And then if you don't have any pain down the arm or tingling or numbness or things like that, then you do the neck rolls. I think it's part of yoga anyways, but you just do the neck rolls, but very gently. Don't try to do a full big range, but if you can do small range at first, then do small. And if you can, if once you stretched out, then you can do a bigger range, then that's fine. But 2 or 3 of that and just switch the angle. And that's very helpful too. So that's as far as people who, are doing a lot of wrist work or hand or, a lot of standing and hand work, like in the kitchen, a lot work or something like, or yard work or something like that. These are good things to do. As far as lower back, the way I think I'm sitting in the chair, but I can't, probably show the whole thing, but the how Sejal is sitting, that's completely fine too. So your hands you just go forward and then bend forward. So you can keep a pillow in the front if if you can't stretch, but just kind of slide your hand. Just go, Sejal, if you can slide your hand forward and then just go lean in. Do you feel a stretch in the low back and the hip area and things like that? So this is in sitting, but a lot of people can't do it in sitting. So sitting in a chair, you can just go forward like that and you will feel a low back stretch. So that's okay to do that. So that's one other thing I say. And the standing stretch, I'm going to try to do some standing, see if it works out. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see some, part of it? Okay. Mm-hmm. So in standing, you put your one hand on the hip, put one hand, like kind of put it by your ear and straight. And then you just kind of go side bend. So when I was recently presenting, I was telling that when I used to make tea, now I don't drink tea, but when I used to drink tea, that's the time I would stand and do this. So you take about 3 reps. And this one you want to do like about 3 reps at the same and on the same side before you switch the side. And then you switch the side. And you just go to the side. Just again, go, if you can only go this much and you feel a stretch, stay there. The next stretch, you might be able to go a little further. And the third one, you might be able to go a little further. So that's a good one. The other one is if, again, no pain down the leg or anything, you put your hands on your shoulders and you do pelvic circles. So you kind of circle. You go one way 5 and the other way 5. Sometimes you'll notice that the one way is easier than the other. After you do about 10, 15 days, you'll start noticing that they both balance out and you feel almost, they're equally moving in the same way without so much stiffness or tightness. Okay. Then the other one, you just kind of straddle your legs a little bit and then you're going to go to the side. So your hands are still on your hips and the leg goes to the side. So it's a side lunge kind of thing. and then bend the other way. And one other thing I tell people, that also helps with the back is you touch the opposite knee and the hand to the opposite knee. You bring it up. So you're kind of doing marches. Right. And this gets activated your side, like oblique muscles, which are the ones that are trunk, they kind of help you bend your trunk in sideways and rotational fashion. So if you clear these muscles, it helps reduce some of the low back pain, hip pain. And also if people have like mid back or upper back pain, it helps. This also helps with digestion. So, you can do about 5 or 10 of each, and that's helpful. Is that good?
Yes.
As far as daily stretches, anything that? Okay, any questions? Anyone else? Okay, so now we can talk a little bit about nutrition. So as far as nutrition, everybody's heard in the last few years, 8 glasses of water, and say just drinking water as we talk about it, which is good. So water is very important. Then you hydrate yourself. It's like that dry plant that you hydrated, and it's really good. It helps, shock absorption system, muscle movement, things like that. But along with water, your muscles also need some form of electrolytes. So it's sodium, chloride, potassium, magnesium, zinc, all these things. If you don't know where to start, the best thing is make sure that your sodium, potassium, chloride is balanced. In the sense, I, in the summertime, make a lot of lemonade at home. So, when I tell my patients to make lemonade, all they do is put lemon and water. Or they get one of those, powders, the lemonade mix, and they put it. And I think it defeats the purpose in my mind, is because you need to add salt and sugar. So, anybody who grew up in India would know that our oral rehydration system was salt and sugar. They'll put it in water and they'll give you, if they didn't have time to go to a pharmacy and get electrolyte powder. So that's like really basic. Everybody has salt and sugar in the house, and then you get lemon. And summertime I say lemonade is because in winter they ask you to add honey. And I'm not sure if it works equally well, but you can, do it all year long, that's fine. So lemonade, homemade lemonade is very good. One of the things I've not heard anything bad about so far is the vitamin water. So vitamin water comes in about 20 ounce bottle, I think. But don't do anything which has 0. So I recommend that even if it's 10 calories, a little bit of sugar, it's fine. 0, doesn't do well with your body. Your body doesn't absorb the component that they put in the 0. So it's better to have little sugar than have something that your body doesn't agree with. Nowadays everybody has a lot of allergy, different things. It's just because there are a lot of added stuff. So either you make lemonade at home, coconut water is good, but there are so many products in the market. I don't even know which one is probably good or not. But if you can get something you like as a coconut water product, then that also helps. That's the potassium. Eating banana is probably good, but not everybody can eat banana every day. But that's one of the things that we should add in your diet. Again, sometimes, watermelon, you make juice of it and you put a little bit of lemon in it, and that hydrates you well. In regular water at home, if you put 2 slices of cucumber, then that helps with vitamin B. So things like that, you can add some things that you like in your water and you like the taste. You just add it, infused water, and it's easy to do. You don't have to go buy infused water. You can just put like little fruits, like little berries in it, or cucumber in it, anything that you like. A little bit of mint helps, just kind of vitamin C, things like that. So that's another good way to hydrate. Vitamin water is good. And, there are electrolyte powders out there. So you can try. If somebody's very active and athletic, and if they're going out hiking a lot, they really need to add hydration in there. So for normal activity, we say 8 glasses, but people who are really active, they should do at least about 12 glasses. So 2 of those means the 16 ounce should be at least electrolytes. You can find water out there which has electrolyte added, and that's fine too, because if you don't want to do anything fancy, then you can just buy water that's electrolyte added. So any of these things will work, and if you keep your hydration good, then your muscles will function better. So along with stretching and hydrating and breathing, if you add all those things right, you will have less stiffness, less aches and pain, things like that. It really will help. There are people who forget to drink water for a while, and then they'll have a lot of like little joint pains, because now those joints need the water to absorb the shock, and like the nervous system needs that. So it's a very good thing that you can do it for yourself. Make sure that you either have a timer for yourself to drink enough water, because one of the things we don't drink enough water is because we all are in AC controlled environment. So we don't really feel thirsty as much, so that is why we forget. So that's one thing I can really say that will make a big difference. If you're doing all the other things, and if you add water right, it will add up. Otherwise you're exercising, you're eating right, you're doing a lot of things right, but you're not drinking water, it will change. And I'm saying it over and over is because it's a really big component of how your muscles need to work. And, see if you're lacking anywhere there, then just add that little bit more. Okay.
Question.
All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question too.
Regarding cucumber that you mentioned in the water, should we kind of put it at night? Is it good, like, in the night to take a glass of water, few slices of cucumber, and then drink it in the morning? I was told like it's like alkaline water.
Yeah. That's what they say. And, I think, in my opinion, if you can remember to do that, that's great. I usually just do it in the morning, and then throughout the day, somewhere I drink it. The idea is that the cucumber has to be in the water for at least more than a couple hours.
Oh, okay.
To kind of help, right? Because it needs to
Right.
infuse in there. Right.
Exactly.
So, whatever works that way. If that, like when I was growing up, one of the things we used to do was raisins in the water.
Yeah.
And then drink that water in the morning. So idea was probably to soak that much to get the benefit for it to infuse. So, if you can remember to do it, if you, really on a routine and a good discipline, then that's probably a good idea.
Okay, great.
I
Thank
have
you.
But
a
just,
question.
yes, just one thing to say is don't keep the water for over 18 hours.
Oh, okay.
Drink within the 18 hours.
Got it. Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Okay. What was the
I have a question
Yes.
regarding the electrolytes.
Yes.
Can we use that on a regular basis or only once in a while?
Hold on 1 second, okay? Oh. Okay, can you hear me now? My phone is doing like. Okay, can you hear me better?
Yeah, we can hear you, can't see you. Okay,
You can't
now.
see me. Okay.
Okay.
So now it's okay. So electrolyte, if depending on your activity. So if you are active every day and you're doing like a 30 minutes walking or 45 minutes walking, or you're standing on your feet for 5-6 hours, then if you did electrolytes every day, it's probably okay. I usually say to do every other day.
How about, the kids, like my grandson runs, he's in a track. And
Yeah, he should do it every day. Like
Oh,
he can do
really?
it every day. Yeah. But electrolyte means, again, you choose, like it's not Gatorade every day, right? It's
Right.
either you make lemonade at home and you give him, or beet juice. People who are very athletic, if you give a little bit of beet juice, it gives them energy, and it lasts for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Rather than these drinks which are added, like some other sugars. So yeah, if you make lemonade at home or something like that, or if they do electrolyte powder, but they're
Yeah.
active, then it's okay. But it all depends on activity. If you're not active as much, like if you're not really like getting 2 hours of workout every day, then every other day of electrolyte is okay. Then you don't want to do too much.
Kids can always drink orange juice and the regular juices too, right?
Right. Yeah. Some of the parents don't like their kids to drink something that's right off the box. So that's why I just give that. But yeah, anything, it's good for them because they'll get the vitamin C, they'll get, all the other, some parts of electrolytes, they get the hydration. You can't get them to just drink water either sometimes. So it's a good idea to add things. I attended a conference that the Hopkins pediatrician put together, and they said, we take salt out of our system. A lot of us, over the period of time, if you have high blood pressure, yes, you decrease the salt. But they actually suggested that put the salt on their fries. So it's like they're saying you need that. The salt is the bigger thing. The salt and sugar, if you balance it out, not too much sugar, but if you put salt and juices, other things that they're hydrating enough, it helps them.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Continue, Rupal. Go ahead.
Okay, so basically, I wanted to talk about stretching, nutrition, and mudra a lot. So I've kind of put together this much information to kind of, see if that benefits. If there is anything else you want me to talk about, Sija, I can.
What are the items to eat in day-to-day life? Like, can you like suggest for breakfast, a lunch, and dinner? Any special menu we should all follow?
So one other thing I found out that when you do breakfast, a lot of the American breakfast, if you look at it, has a lot of sweet stuff in it, right?
Wow.
But if you look at all the things we grew up eating, it's more salty, so some carbohydrate base. So protein is like recommended here. Like everybody talks about protein, and protein is good. But if you don't have enough carbohydrate, the complex carbohydrate in your system, then it actually, takes away from your body to use the protein for building your bones. So in the mornings at breakfast, if you are having something like rice flakes, like poha or something like that,
Yeah.
It's good. Anything of cream of wheat, oatmeal, those things are good. And every day, make sure one other thing also, that do not eat same thing for 5 days. And lately there are so many products in the market, so it's hard to really tell, because it might be 5 years after that you find out that, oh, this product was not really good. So the best thing to do is, and I heard this from a doctor actually, and that change your routine. Don't eat the same kind of food every day. So, if you're making breakfast, like, a couple days you make the poha, then one day you make something with cream of wheat, one day you make something with oatmeal, things like that. So something little to energize yourself in the morning, and that's very good. Somewhere I have read, and I've tried to follow it, that if you want to eat fruit, you eat like around 10 o'clock and not very late at night, because fruit has sugar, and that kind of disturbs your sleep. So not after 7 o'clock or something like that. So maybe you want to do like fruit and things like that in the morning part. And then when you have lunch, everybody has different choices, but I would say that don't add too many different things together. If you're eating something based like milk, then don't do yogurt based stuff together. So stuff like that, so if you're eating rice, some people eat brown rice, some people eat white rice, and whichever rice you're eating is fine. But then when you cook it, you make sure that that it's cooked and steamed for a little bit longer time. It's cooked in a slow method rather than a very fast method. Have a little bit of water, then drain the water out. These kind of things take time. Not everybody has that kind of time sometimes, but it's good practice whenever you can think of it. Like if you're going to eat beans or things like that, soak them for about 16 to 18 hours. So that kind of takes the gassy element out of that. So then when you eat it, it doesn't affect you that much. Eating fenugreek, adding fenugreek in your cooking methods, like whatever you make, is good. I have a patient that was having a lot of joint pain, and he had a lot of inflammation. So all we did is that added, like whenever the mother cooked anything for him, if she's making rice or if she's making any kind of vegetable for him, then she added the vegetable broth in. So what happened is it gave him enough electrolytes that help, like we always cook just with water most of the time, right? Like if you make dal or anything like that. But she started doing it, and then in 4 to 6 weeks, we noticed a big difference, the joint pain. Nothing was changed, only thing that part of the diet was changed. I was working with him, giving me exercise, things like that. But just by adding that, so the broth, again, that's the same thing. So in wintertime, if you eat a lot of clear soups, that helps, like, by Vietnamese soup, if you've ever had, anybody's ever had, that, it has a lot of liquid cilantro, that really replenishes a lot of the electrolytes in your system. So not just the drinks in the summertime that I'm talking about, or lemonade or other things, but if you have clear liquid soup, like vegetable broth, so you use vegetable stock to kind of make all your food, then that will help, rebuild the electrolyte system. and your body will digest it better.
Now, what are the stuff? How do you illuminate some of the preservative stuff? Like you mentioned the vegetable broth, right? You use it.
Right.
But then there is a lot of preservatives, you know.
Right. So,
So
people who have time, they make it at home. And
yeah,
it's probably a little easy in the morning, like, it's like, and every day it's not possible for people. But what
Yeah.
I say is, we go out and eat, right? So we're going to still put something that's probably not advisable for our body. But out of our, 7 days, 14 meals, other than breakfast, if you consider just the basic lunch and dinner, 14 meals, if there are at least 5 or 6 meals, if we can do something, like if weekend you have time, right? Then you just boil your water, you put some vegetables in it, and you put in a little bit of salt or vinegar or things like that. Just have that broth ready, and then just filter it, and then have it ready to cook your stuff. So it doesn't have to be a completely vegetable broth that you buy out in the market, but something like that. If you add that kind of will slowly build your whole routine, and then you will like the taste of it, and then you will end up doing it for a longer time. Other thing I noticed is when I buy products outside now, like, it's not like I'm promoting Trader Joe's, but if you look at Trader Joe's, like if you buy some things from Trader Joe's, you see they only have few ingredients. So when I go buy products, I look at how many ingredients are there. If there are a lot of these things, inactive ingredients, or if there are a lot of other things that are unnecessary, then I don't buy that product. So
Okay,
that's the only way slowly you can, kind of change your habits. And
what is your opinion about gluten? These days, everybody talks, don't eat wheat, don't, for arthritis. So at our age, we have a lot of issues with, joints. So do you advise not to eat wheat because roti is our staple food?
I know that's the hardest thing, right? So, the one thing they talk about, the gluten, and it's kind of true when you have gluten sensitivity, or if you have intolerance, you will notice that you have a lot of joint pains. But we like roti, so we don't want to take it out of our system. And, I will tell you from personal experience, I try to get multigrain, the flour, and I tried to make it. And that gave me more problem because I think a couple of the things they had in the multigrain did not work with my system well, like the tapioca or something they have. It doesn't work with me. So the biggest thing I can say is if you have, just have roti maybe once a day instead of, twice a day. And that's probably fine.
you can also mix it with the other two attas,
Right.
You can,
So you
mix
can
it with bajri, you can mix with juva,
Right.
you can also mix it with ragi. I never use whole wheat by itself anymore.
No.
Right.
I just take a little bit of whole wheat and more of ragi and bajri.
Right. And that's what I have started doing, not buying the multigrain, but then what you're saying is exactly right. If you add a little bit of wheat and then a little bit of other flour, like, one other thing is the jawar and the bajri.
Yeah.
If your system can handle it, the bajri is very hot for your system. So, you have to see if it works for you. Usually they say winter time is right.
Yeah.
But the jawar is supposedly one of the good ingredients, and the oat flour, you can kind of just grind in and make an oat flour and then add it in your, so things like that. And what I've started to do is substitute, instead of making roti, sometimes I just make those, with the beans, you grind them and then you just make like little dosa kind of batter.
Yeah.
And then, it's in between childa and, fudla and dosa. So you kind of mix and match and then add that. And so I kind of change it up. But if you like roti, then it is a little bit hard.
That's the only satisfaction you get. Two rotis and sabji. I'm sorry, but otherwise you feel something missing.
On that thing you can do is you can find some wheat. Like I have a friend who bought from Amazon a little grinder thing. It's very little. It sits on the kitchen counter and you grind your wheat at home. Then you can avoid some of it. It's a lot of work. But, if you feel like the gluten really, like try to give it up for 5 days. And if you feel that makes a difference in your pain, then that's worth looking into and changing it up. And, I think people still, the wheat that comes from other countries and not from US, you're probably still not allergic to it as much. So you just have to kind of experiment and find some flour that works better for you. And then just like Sejal said, add some other things just to kind of have less content of that whole wheat in there.
Yeah. And I think the dosa sounds good too. Make some dosa.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I mean, once a week or maybe twice a week we eat roti, and we hardly use whole wheat flour now.
Whole wheat anymore. Right.
Yeah. There is a quinoa flour available too.
Right.
Yeah.
Like people add almond flour to it, so
Yeah.
anything that works for you, just
Yeah.
kind of add a little, that way you're not having whole, but you get the satisfaction of eating a roti. So,
Yeah.
that's probably going to be very helpful.
The other thing is, some people say you shouldn't skip breakfast. Some say you need only 2 meals a day. So what should,
So your question is that if you should follow the 2 meals or like eat 3 meals a day or
Right.
things like that, is that what?
yes,
That's
see,
what
some people say you should not miss breakfast. And
Right.
some
So
say you don't have to eat for 16 hours, give like 16 hours gap before you eat anything. So where do we draw the line here?
right. So
When you're
that
hungry,
is
you eat.
right. Well, that's a very interesting point, that nowadays I hear a lot of our friends are doing intermittent fasting, so that's the 16 hours that you don't eat anything and things like that. In my opinion, what I say is that in India also, there used to be fasting thing, right? Like you do like one day whole, don't eat anything, or have just one time meal, or one time meal, but the other time no salt, but you can have chips. So you have different things, right? Like your body just needs every 7 to 10 days a little bit of break. So if you're eating like the same meal, the heavy meal every day and things like that, then what you can do is one day give yourself a little break. Eating breakfast is a really good thing, and eating carbohydrate in the morning is a good thing because it jump starts your system. Again, you have to see if you are already waking up with feeling energized, and you have a little bit of coffee or tea and have just a toast with it, and you feel good, then that's good. Then don't worry about trying to see that you have to eat breakfast every day. But if you feel energized and you don't need anything, you just do a cup of coffee and you can wait till 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock to eat your meal, that's fine too. But again, you have to see how you feel. The best way you can find out if something's working for you is how you feel. If you skip a meal and you feel really tired, that means your blood glucose level went down and you needed a meal and you skipped it, and now your body has to find other sources to make up for it. So just pay attention to your energy level. If you feel like you eat 3 meals and it gives you like really good balance, then that's fine. The quantity of the meal you can probably reduce a little bit if you want to get some benefit of it. But any of this theory work, and all of these are actually okay to follow and not okay to follow. But the best thing I can tell people is feel within yourself what it makes you feel like. If your energy level is really low, your blood glucose level, when it goes down, then the body really cries for help and then uses all the other resources. Like at that time, the protein synthesis gets affected. A lot of things happen. And it's not just one time it's going to happen. If this becomes a pattern in your life, then it happens like that. Out of 5 days, if twice you missed a meal and you just felt a little tired, and that's okay. The body's not going to have any problem with that. There's no, bad effect of it. But, the biggest thing I can say is just see how you feel. But every 7 to 10 days, if you give yourself 1 day of break, like half a day of break, like when you get up in the morning and don't eat till 2 o'clock, or after 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, don't eat anything until next morning. Any of that works for you. Just try that out and see how you feel.
Okay, thank you.
When we studied here, when I studied here, basically, I was told that breakfast is the most important meal. And then, like Ramdev Baba says, you eat everything heavy before 4 o'clock, and
Right.
then once don't start just light meal for the lunch for the dinner.
Well, it's like they say, eat the breakfast like a king,
Right.
and lunch
Exactly.
like this, and supper like a poor man. So
Exactly.
And it actually has a lot of truth in it, because
So
in the
your
morning when you're
dinner should be very light so that it's easy to digest the whole night. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's basically what you can go by. In the morning, everybody's up and about working, doing activities. At night, if you're not active, then, your body doesn't digest well, or, sits there. It makes you sluggish. So that is a good, thing to follow. That, You eat good in the morning. 4 o'clock is also a good, most of the people here do eat a little early.
Yeah.
But the Americans breakfast thing, they eat a lot of sugar. That's the wrong part. Eating breakfast is good, just not eat the donut in the morning.
Yeah, I think they eat a lot of heavy in the dinner, which is then it's
Right.
really becomes hard for them to digest because there is not too much movement.
Too much movement,
So,
right?
well, anyone else have any questions?
I was just wondering if, Rupa, you can recommend any exercise for the knee, in the sense like I have a problem like going up and down the stairs, not all the time, but at times it triggers. So is there anything that you would recommend?
So I think, again, the part of some of the stretches you can do, but when you're sitting in the chair like you're sitting right now, right?
Mhm,
Just bring your leg straight up
mhm.
and then put your ankle, bend your ankle towards you. So
Okay.
you'll feel a little stretch. Do you feel a little stretch? And then
Yes.
go down and then put it down and then do the other side. Okay. In sitting, just do like the ankle
Up and
movements
down.
up and down like that, the old sewing machine kind of concept. You just kind of do that to yourself. The calf is your biggest muscle pump. So if it gives good blood flow back to, then it will help the lower leg. It will not feel so tight and stuff like that. If the pain is when you're going up and down, you're feeling it, that means some part of the muscle is weak too. So the stretch I said, right? Like when you bring the leg
Mhm.
straight up. So same way, just then don't do the stretch, but just bring the leg straight up and down 5 times each
Okay.
side.
Okay.
Okay. So that will give that knee muscle a little bit of strength. Okay. The other thing to do is you have steps in the house.
Yes.
So you have a rail on the side.
Yes.
Okay. So hold one hand with the rail and then just put one leg over the first step and then come down. Same leg. Just left leg 5 times up and down like that. But you
Okay.
hold the rail. You can hold 2 rails also, it doesn't matter. But holding is important because then it helps transfer the weight right.
Okay.
Because what
Oh.
you're doing is you're just going to glide those muscles, make them a little stronger. And then
Okay.
you do the other leg, the right leg. So one leg is on the floor and then the right leg 5 times up and down. Do that for about a couple of weeks.
Okay.
And see how you feel. If that helps, then that probably will take care of a lot of the issues.
Mhm.
You can try heat or ice around your knee, like just at night, if you want to put heat or ice.
Mhm.
The other biggest thing again, is at night, if you don't want to put heat or ice, if you have Vicks Vapor Rub at home,
Yes.
then just put it around your joint, around the knee.
Okay.
So
That's
it heats
easy.
up the joint nicely, gets the blood flow moving. When you wake up in the morning, it's not as stiff.
I'm gonna try
Okay.
it out. Great.
Yeah, some
Thank
of
you
the little
so
things
much.
you can try it and try it for
Yes.
2 weeks. If it doesn't work, then there is something else needs to be done. Then you may
Sure.
want to find like a physical therapist in your area or doctor in your area and just to see. But if it's like just a little pain, then you might be able to,
Okay.
resolve it with this.
Wonderful. Thank you so much again.
I
You're
have
welcome.
one more quick question.
Yes.
For sugar with the diabetes who are pre-diabetic people, is it good to use stevia or Sweet and Low or Splenda? Which is the better product?
So one thing I will tell you that the Sweet and Low and, the third thing, what did you say? Stevia is okay, but what was Sweet and Low and what was the other thing?
Splenda?
Yeah, so those two, your body doesn't digest well. So
Okay.
I would not recommend. That's just my opinion. And I have talked to a lot of people, like a lot of the wellness practitioners in the area, a lot of acupuncturists who do nutritional wellness. And all of us are in that agreement that Sweet and Low, Splenda, your body doesn't do well. Stevia, so far, everybody thinks it's, it's a plant product. It's okay. Agave is okay. Yeah. But do it in a little bit of, in winter time, if you can do honey, do honey. If, have a problem with honey, don't, then don't use it. But raw sugar, if you can find to replace a little bit, like how much sugar are you talking about? Like what do you put sugar
use
in?
like 2.5 spoons a day.
Okay, so reduce that to 1 if you can. That's the only best advice I can give you. Or you can use stevia. I think that's okay. But
See,
don't
I
go to
don't
Sweet and Low,
eat
Splenda.
sweets. The only thing I use is with coffee. That's all. And
that's when you get it.
I don't go grab sweets or anything like
Right.
donut, none of those things, but just coffee.
Right. So, stevia, you can continue. I think that shouldn't be a problem. and then raw sugar or honey. You know what you can do. That's fine.
Okay.
But reduce it to see if you can reduce a little bit in every coffee. You know, you put like maybe put it 3/4 spoon if you're putting 1 spoon or something like that. You know.
I will try that.
Yeah. What I've heard from couple nutritionists is like, you know, they say about 1 spoon a day. So, but it's okay if you do 1.5 or 2. It will be okay because you don't do anything else. So it's okay.
Right.
And
right.
you don't eat as much fruit, right? Then do you eat fruits a lot?
I do eat that small bananas.
Okay. So that's the only thing, right? So you just have to make sure that the fruits have a lot of sugar too. Like even if it's natural, if you are
Right,
talking about
right,
pre-diabetic,
right.
then you just have to make sure. Also
I-
adding salt on fruit sometimes helps metabolize the sugar
no, I
part of it.
don't usually do it.
Right.
And then we don't eat white rice. We eat
Yeah. So
red
you are
rice.
you're doing all the other things. So yeah.
Yeah, red rice.
Yeah. So you're not really, you know, in all part of your life, you don't have in all part of your diet, you don't have a lot of sugar in it. If you're doing other things to help it, then probably a little bit of sugar won't hurt. And the other thing to do is if you do this, that
Okay.
helps regulate the blood sugar. This
Okay.
actually helps diabetes, but you have to do at least 45 minutes a day for 30-40 days to regulate it.
Okay.
And you can start out with 5 minutes 3 times a day and then go to 15 minutes, you know, slowly just build it up. But this is good and this is easy. So then you won't have to worry about too much sugar stuff.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Do you have any suggestions for like a sciatic pain? Like sometimes
So if you
sciatic.
only have it sometimes, and if you don't have it all the time, then you can again do some stretches. So lay on your back. So in the morning when you're on your back, keep your feet together and then just bring them up and down.
Okay.
Keep them together and go side to side. Just you have to really make sure your knees are straight and your legs are like your feet are touching, and then circle. So it's not about moving your ankle or knee or anything. When you do that, it stretches the whole sciatic complex on the back. Okay. So that's one of the good way to try to,
Okay.
you know, if every morning you do a little bit, you'll stretch it a little. And then eventually it will stretch out. Some days you've overworked or something like that, your back muscles are tight, you will feel sciatic effect, you know. So putting heat on your back sometimes when you're really tired, or if you've had a busy day, or if you feel that sciatic pain's coming, then try the heat at night. And that will probably help.
Thank you.
What's your opinion on cannot eat spicy food after certain age? Is it a gut problem? Is it we can use probiotic? What's your opinion?
So when you eat spicy food, you know, most of the time people can tolerate, but as you age, the lining of our gut becomes thinner.
Right.
And that's why we can't tolerate the spicy food. It's not really the, you know, at certain age you don't have to eat, but it's just because the lining. And we took my mother-in-law to a doctor, and she said that you increase the vitamin B intake, and that helps you repair the lining, and then your tolerance can go up. So it's not really the spicy food is not allowed. It's just that you have to see if your, you know, gut lining has to be repaired.
So what kind of vitamin B?
Vitamin B, like, you know, you can get vitamin B complex. You can get some drops that you can put it in your juice, you know.
Okay.
Even like putting cucumber in the water, right? That's vitamin B. And that adds slowly. It takes time to repair your gut.
Yeah, that makes your body alkaline, right?
Right. Because what probiotic does, probiotic is good, but what probiotic does is it's dealing with the bacteria, you know, like the balance of it, right? But if your lining is already thin, then the spicy food is going to react it more.
Right.
So that's the part, if you take care, and, you know, that will help.
Okay.
You can also eat a lot of beetroot.
Right.
Beetroot.
Beet is really good. Power food.
Beetroot has lots of vitamin B.
Right.
So you boiled the beet and then?
Yeah, you boil the beet and then just eat it raw. Like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank
you beet, you know, if you add beet into your diet 4 or 5 times a day, that's really good. It's very highly energetic.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you so much, Rupal, for giving us
so
your
much.
time.
Thank you.
We will have more.
Are you in Maryland? Is she in Maryland?
She's in Maryland.
Yeah, I live in
Yes.
Do you do
I live in Ellicott
physical
City.
therapy 101? Anybody wants 101 with you or with physical therapy?
I have a small, Yeah, I have a small practice in Ellicott City.
Uh-huh.
So,
Okay.
and I do see just people one-on-one. That's how I individualize, and that's why I kind of work with everybody's nutrition, mudra, yoga. So,
Uh-huh.
I go through the whole thing for 45 minutes.
Okay. So can we have your number and all info? So, I think so that we
Yeah,
can contact you.
yeah, if I can share it with Sejal and then she can just pass it on. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Thank you so much.
much,
Thank you,
Rupal.
Sejal, and thank you, Rupal. Appreciate
Th-
you guys so much.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you. And
Yeah.
if you want to look it up, my information is just my initials, Rupal Dev, rdphysicaltherapy.com.
Okay.
So
rdphysicaltherapy.com.
RD Physical Therapy. Yeah, it's just my initials, physicaltherapy.com. So you can look at my website and it has all my information too.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you.
You can forward that to us, Rupal. Send
Yes.
it to me and then I'll forward it to them.
Sure.
But thank you so much for your time. We'll have more of your sessions with us later on, okay?
Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank
Have
you,
a good weekend,
Rupal.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank
Namaste.
Have a
you.
good weekend.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
You too. Bye. Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you,
Have a good
Sejal.
day.
Thank
Bye.
you, Sejal.
Thank you,
Bye.
Sejal.
See you
Bye.
all tomorrow in the morning.
Yes.
All right.
Sejal,
You have to get up early.
as always, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Sejal.
Thanks,
Have
Sejal,
a good
for
day.
coordinating. Thank
અને
you.
Sure.
Sejal,
Thank you so much.
Sejal, કિનવાનો લોટ ક્યાં મળે છે? તે કીધું કિનવાનો.
Yeah, quinoa load, you can get it from Patel Brothers also has it. H Mart has it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I use that. I use almond flour as well.
Almond flour is,
Yeah.
I know, but I don't know that quinoa's flour is
There is oat
available.
flour too. There's oat flour.
I make all oat flours in my home,
Yeah. So
but I don't know that quinoa flour is available. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
try it.
Okay, I
All
try.
right, guys.
Okay,
Have a
Thank
good
see you.
you.
day.
Bye.
See
I'm
you.
tired.
Bye.
I'm hungry. I need to go eat. Bye.
Okay, bye. Bye.
See you.
Thank you, Sejal. Bye.